Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also like to recognize those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. It is indeed a blessing to be here with you tonight. As tonight we are talking about perception problem. We are talking about the perception problem. And as you guys are joining me, go ahead and feel free to like and share this video. Feel free to like and share this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get all the videos and replays on demand. So as you guys are joining me tonight, like and share this video and we will get started. Perception problem. Many of us, we're in a place in our life to where we feel like we're being held back. We feel like we can't get the breaks we need. We feel like the more we try to do good or to do right, there's always something in the way that hold us back. And so for many of us, when we bump up against those walls, when we continue the same cycle over and over again, we feel like, what's the use? We automatically at that point want to give up. And so guys, I just wanted to share with you and give you some encouragement tonight to let you know that when you're running up against those barriers, when you're trying to break into new ground, when you're looking to take on greater successes in your life, those barriers are not there to stop you or to hinder you from getting to that place that you desire to be. They're there to build you up, to build your creativity. They're there to apply the necessary ingredients in you, I guess, to purge out that old stuff, that old way of thinking, that old mindset into something new. Because, hey, Diane, how are you tonight, baby? Because when we are taking on new grounds, when we are going into new territory and begin to take on new territory, and we have all these creative ideas, the main thing that is a hindrance to us is that we do all this good stuff, this grand stuff on trying to get there. We have the look down, we have the dance down, we have the creativity down. But what we don't have a lot of times is that we're trying to take over new ground with the same old mindset, with the same perception. Hey, Donna Lisa, how are you, baby? And so this is what hinders us a lot of times. And this is why when we get ready to go into new territory, this is why we hit those road bumps of those familiar things that are always in our way. It's never anything new. It's never any new attitudes. It's never anything as far as new leadership or anything like that. It's always the same old thing. That same old devil, as some people call it. There's nothing new under the sun. So why is it that we are hitting up these same barriers when we're trying to do good? Now all of a sudden we're trying to live right. Now all of a sudden we're trying to break away from that old way of doing things or that old lifestyle, and we're trying to do good, and yet every time we make 2 steps forward, we're knocked back 3 steps, seem like. Well, this is what happens to us. We're taking on good. It's good to know that you're well, baby. I haven't seen you in a while, and so it's good for you to let me know that you're here and check in and let me know that you are well, and I hope your family is also. So what stops us, guys, is that we're trying to do this without taking into consideration that our minds have to change. It would be easy for our creator to let down the barriers. And when we finally make up our mind to do something different or to do something great or to finally walk in our purpose or to live in our purpose, it would be easy for him to just let it be a bed of roses. But do you know that your old mindset cannot go into the territory that you're destined to take over? Because your old mindset is not equipped for the things in your next level. And this is, many of us miss it because we're not taught this. We don't understand it. We think that we are who we are because that's who we are. We don't understand that we have been conditioned to be as we are. In the same way we train our bodies to tolerate exercise, the same way we train our outer appearance to look a certain way. You know, we can fix our hair a certain way. We put on certain clothes that make us appear a certain way. The same way we do all of that, the physical, it's easy. It's the mental things, that inner man, that mindset is what we fail to and what we neglect to get in shape or to prepare it to fall in line. Did you know that whoever you are, you can recreate your mind? You can create your identity. You can recreate who you are destined to be. Many of us over the years of living this life, and I know that many of us have had experiences that we didn't even think that we would be able to make it this far. We didn't know that we would live to see today. We should have been dead and gone a long time ago. We have survived some of the most harshest things that anybody can ever fathom or imagine. And so over the years of coming through that, of being traumatized, of being violated, of being abused, of being addicted, all these things that we have had to overcome, we have taken on labels imposed upon us because of something that we have done, something we have said, something that we've been through. And so we perceive ourselves as not being worthy. We perceive ourselves as being contaminated goods. We perceive ourselves as less than or inferior. And so we take on this role of imitating. We take on this role of pretending. We take on this role of wearing masks. We take on this role of just doing enough just to get by. But soon there comes a point in our life to where we say, you know, God has got to be more to life than what I am experiencing. And I feel like I'm seeking you. I feel like I'm doing all I can to do what's right, to do what's good. And then I look through my social media pages and it looks like everybody's living that life that I desire. Why am I being left out? Why am I'm the one bumping up against these obstacles? Why am I the only one that has barriers in the way? Why am I the one that can't get the encouragement or the break that I need to get to that place that I desire to go, or that place that I know you're drawing me to? Well, guys, today I'm here to give you the answer. And the answer is not a problem in your circumstance. It's not a problem in your hearing. It's not a problem in your desires. Your problems that you have lie in the perception of your mind. You are what holds you back. And the way you do that is because you have not recreated or renewed or redefined your mindset. And yes, I know. I know that they don't teach us this. They tell us what to do, but they don't ever tell us how to do it. We're never told how to do something. But today, I'm telling you where the problem lies. That's the roadblock you keep running up against. This is why it seems like you can't get that good break. And it's because when you run up against those barriers, when you run up against those walls, when the road gets tough, instead of you sticking with it and pressing through and protecting your sacred space, we have that old mindset to where we want to think back how we used to do it. It's always how we used to get over or how we used to get by. Who can we use to get here? Who can we manipulate to get there? Who can we con to get what we want? And we can't go to the next level with that mindset. That mindset only works or have worked to the point as far as it can bring you. It's not going to go with you in that next level. Many of the reasons why I began to change the way I talk and to change the way I think and interact with people and change the direction of my life was because I knew that the way I thought, I knew that with the harshness of my heart, I knew that with the criticalness of my mind, I knew with the judgmental feelings that I had toward other people, I knew that on this level that my Creator is drawing me to, I knew it could not go with me. So I had to be intentional with learning who I am, what I am, and what I am destined and purposed to be. And so with that, some of the labels that I imposed upon myself, some of the labels that I allowed people to identify me as, some of the things that I thought about myself, some of the things that other people thought of me because of my past or what I've done or what I did or what I said, it couldn't go. It didn't fit. And so what that process of bumping up against those walls and getting those rejections and getting those doors closed in my face and having that opposition and having people being critical toward me, what it did was prune all of that old nasty stuff out of me. So now I have a mindset that is oneness. I have a mindset that is free. I have a mindset that is uncritical, unjudgmental, and it is a place of freedom that I've never felt before in my life. And so when I see people, I see them differently. When I hear people, I hear them differently. When I respond to people, I respond to them differently. And it's all because when I shift that mindset, when my perception changed, everything in my world changed as a result of it. Now, what that says is that where it was that my circumstances used to dictate whether or not I'm going to do something or whether or not I'm going to react in a certain way, my circumstances no longer had that power over me. I took my power back. I took that power back. Who I am is no longer defined by who people say that I am or by waiting on the validation from somebody else. I validate myself. People don't get to decide that for me. When my perception changed, I no longer had to look at another woman and feel critical and judgmental and envious of that other woman. I esteemed myself, so I didn't have to compare myself to somebody else. So guys, this is the point we have to get to in our walk. Nothing in life worth having is always going to be laid out on a bed of roses for us. So when we're looking at that other woman, when we're looking at that other family, when we're looking at how people are excelling in their careers, believe me, if they got there the right way, it came with something. It came with a cost. It cost them some sleepless nights. It cost them some critical criticism. It cost them some barriers along the way. It caused them to be talked about and to be looked down upon from time to time. But most of all, it caused them to change their perception. They had to change. Anybody taking on new ground, I mean really taking on new ground, all you see is the end results. All you see is them in that place where you desire to be. You didn't see the process that it took for them to get there. And whereas it for us, through our perception, it looks like, oh, it's an overnight success. That's not the case. That's not the case. Many people see me and they see me and the things that I do and the things that I've been able to accomplish over the past several months or past several years. And it can be easy to judge or to perceive that as I have no problems or that I have everything all together. But that's farthest from the truth. Hey, Ann, how are you, babe? That's farthest from the truth. But what you see is a result of what I've had to press through. What you see is the result of the things that I've had to sacrifice. What you see is the result of what it has taken for me to take my power back and assume my own identity and redefine who I am so that I can get to the next levels of my life that I have purpose to be for this time, for this season. That's what you see. So guys, when we shift our perception, and how do we do that? That's it. That's the question. How do we shift the perception? How do we begin to minimize the problems within our perception? Well, I tell you what, you cannot doing it, applying the same mess day in and day out that we always have. We just can't do it. And I have to call it mess because when we put mess in us, when we're so full of housewives and we're so full of reality TV and we're so full of Netflix, when we're so full of all that stuff that we have consumed throughout our day, there's nothing to give out. So we have to protect our space. We have to protect our psyche. We have to begin to change things up in our daily routine. Each of us, no matter who we are, where we are, or what we're doing, we get 24 hours in a day. What we do in that 24 hours is the defining factor of how and when we're going to reach our destination. So if we're looking at things, if we perceive it all as negative, if we perceive it all as being against us, it's because that's what we're putting in our minds. That is what we're taking in every day. That is the conversations that we're having. This is where it's at. That's where it comes from. It is not who you are. You are not created to be negative and critical and jealous and envious and bitter and angry. You're not created to be that way. That's what you have been conditioned to because of the environment that you're in. Now, how do you eliminate that? It's by putting into you the total opposite of what you're feeling or what you're giving out into the universe. It has to be opposite. You see people all day long fighting against hate with hate. Hate does not conquer hate. But that's the way that they perceive it through their minds. It's the way the mind perceives it. And this is what keeps the cycle going. So if you want something different out of life, you have to put something different in you in order to produce something different out of you. It's all just a matter of perception. And it is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to change overnight. It is day by day by day. After all the progress I've made, I still have progress that I need to make. I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes. There are some times I have to call myself into subjection because I can see myself getting critical or judgmental or getting too high on my horse or arrogant. And I have to pull myself back down to perspective and get myself in line. There are times when my feathers are ruffled. There are times when I take things personal. And that's not the time to react. That's a time to call my mind back into question to make sure that it is lining up and that I am thinking clear and that I have the clarity that I need to take on the challenges that I have for this day. So I hope that I have made this clear to you. If you are set out to do something great, keep pressing until you reach your greatness. If you're coming up against these walls, if you're coming up against these obstacles, if you're coming up against these barriers, if you're coming up against negativity, if you're coming up against critical people, it's all a matter of perception. All that you're feeling, all those emotions that are being stirred, if you keep pressing, it's going to purge it all up out of you. It's going to begin to shift your perception. You're going to begin to see things differently. You're going to begin to hear things differently. You're going to begin to speak things differently. You're going to be desire to take on different environments and different territories and higher heights. But you have to press through it. You can't run up against it and then give up or feel so negative or feel so outdone that it's just not meant to be, because that could be farthest from the truth. And so many of us, when we hit up against those things, when we run against those obstacles, we're closer to our next level than we think. And some of us are right there. And yet we turn around and take 3 steps back because we're frustrated. But I tell you, it's worth pressing your way through. It's worth getting yourself in a place to where you can protect your mind and that you can think clearly and that you connect yourself with people who are in the place that you desire to be. People that have overcome some things and that are willing to share and support you in your time of overcoming and not be critical of you. So connect yourself with good people. Connect yourself with people that will support you and not be critical of you. And you can't believe everything you hear. And some people we trust, we find down the line that we cannot trust them or that we could not trust them. Don't let that stop you from trusting somebody else. Don't let that stop you from continuing to press toward your destiny, to press toward your greatness. So the only problem with the things that keep us from getting to where we want to be is our perception. How do you see it? Your mindset. And so if all you see is negativity, then the way you eliminate that is start putting positive things, those things that you desire, into your mind each day. So I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I'll be right back here tomorrow night at 10 o'clock p.m. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Good night, everybody.